Hi, I'm Marky.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the Happy Everly After podcast. Hello everyone. Quick intro for today's episode. I'm literally wearing the same outfit I was wearing when I recorded Are You LDS Part 2, but I am devastated. The audio didn't save. And so the audio that we have is audio from the video, which sounds pretty muffled and pretty terrible and pretty scratchy. But I have been sick over it the last couple days because I'm just just my headspace that day was different. And basically what I did was I addressed follow-up questions from the Are You Still LDS Part 1. And I thought it was a really good episode, and I was able to clarify a lot for you guys and answer a lot of questions that you have. And like I said, I literally just came down. I'm wearing the same outfit. I wanted to go re-record it, but I just don't know if I can. So much has happened since part 2 that I did a couple days ago. My headspace is different. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it other than it was so real and authentic the first time that trying to mimic what I did again just makes me I want to barf. I don't want to do that. And maybe I'm just being lazy, but it really does come from a place of just trying to be authentic and wanting, because as I was reading the questions that you guys had, that was basically the first time I had seen those questions. So just my reaction was authentic and real, and I don't know. So I'm talking with my awesome producer about it right now. She's doing what she can to clean up the audio on the video that we took for YouTube. But we'll see what we can do. And if it's unbearable, I'm so terribly sorry. And maybe I will revisit that at a later time. I feel like I'm completely showing up half-assed for you guys right now. And I'm just really sorry. There are options with transcriptions and stuff. I'll try to get that going for you guys. And maybe that will make it easier. But I'm just sorry. Here's the original, and I hope you can hear it, and sorry if your ears hurt during it. I'm just sorry. Okay, thank you guys for understanding, and I will talk to you soon. Hopefully you enjoy this next episode. Hello, and welcome to the Happy Everly After podcast. My name is Marky, and I am going to do another solo today. I literally just kicked Drew and the boys out of the house and made them do Amazon returns. So that's kind of what's going on today. So I kind of wanted to address the podcast episode that came out. For me, right now recording it was yesterday. You guys will probably hear this in a week or two. But yesterday was an extremely heavy day for me, and I could feel it. Drew could feel it. I made a joke on my Instagram that, I have the nervous poops because I just felt nervous. Number one, I feel like I'm, owning all those feelings because even though I'm, living my truth and I'm speaking my truth, what works for me in my life as a 34-year-old adult, I still know how hearing the podcast that was just released, it's called Are You Still LDS? If you haven't listened to it, please, I beg you, go back and listen to it, because for an hour I talk about my OCD called scrupulosity. It's a religion OCD I was clinically diagnosed with. And basically I tallied up my sins every day, and for every tally mark I got, something bad would happen to me or my loved ones. So every bad thing that ever happened was because I was a really terrible little girl. So that's kind of the gist of it, but please go listen to it. And I've gotten some really good feedback from it, but I wanted to address that I also know there are those people who hear that message and probably are so sad right now. And I don't laugh. Maybe that chuckle was like a nervous one, but I truly understand the feelings of being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. True believing members, and then hearing somebody has left the church and how like devastated you are for them because you believe and love something so much and you're kind of just like, what the freak? Like, why are you leaving? Like, and quite honestly, you're probably worried about my salvation and you're worried about my soul after this life. And so I know that for like all of the amazing messages that I have gotten since the episode came out, I know that there are those people that are probably reeling from listening to that podcast. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I left. I'm not sorry that I'm happier outside of the church than in. I'm just sorry that you feel shaken up because you love me and to you, you're worried about me. And I know how pure of heart people are when they think that because, again, I did that for years and years and years. So anyways, I just wanted to start off with that. Today I'm just going to talk about some questions that I've gotten in. I did a little question bubble on my stories of kind of a follow-up, and I'll address those. I've looked at a couple of them, but I haven't like kept up all day, and they'll probably still come in throughout the day. So sorry if I don't address your question here on this podcast, but you know, it is what it is. I only have so many hours in the day, and we're just going to dive right in. So I'm going to pull up my Instagram, and we'll just start from the very first question. Okay, the first question is Drew still LDS? How will you raise your kids? I have so many questions about the church in general. I am not going to talk about Drew and his experience. The only thing I will say is that he has been nothing but an amazing partner to have as I sort through this. It's been years of me sorting through my brain, sorting through like my core beliefs, and he has just been so patient. As for his beliefs, I'm not going to talk about that, but just know that like our marriage is so solid and so strong, and I love him so much. No other man. Like I don't want to do like self-deprecating. I don't want to be like, I'm the worst, Drew's the best, you know? But I will say that like he's definitely the easier. He's just not as complicated as I am. Simple as that. I am just very complicated in this cute little brain of mine. Okay, so next question. How has your family been? Mine has struggled with me leaving the church. So again, I don't want to like speak on their experiences. I will say that for the most part, they've been pretty supportive. I know that some of them are pretty shaken up, and again, that makes me really sad because I know for them and their pure hearts, they're just worried about me and our family, and they don't know how my choices are going to affect my family, you know, and that's all I'll say is for the most part, they've been extremely accepting and amazing. And it's just interesting because it's like, for the longest time, I was like tiptoeing, like, oh, like, should I bring this up? Should I bring this up? I just don't know. Like, should I bring up my questions and my concerns? Should I tell them what's going on? But for the most part, I like I kept to myself and drew pretty much. And I think that I'm happy that I did that. And then, of course, I have had like the big conversations with all 18,000 of my parents, because I'm part of a mixed family. There's a lot of us. And for the most part, they obviously love me unconditionally and support me. If they have opinions about me leaving, they don't really bring it up. And also, another thing is, like, every time, like, church stuff does come up, like when we're there or doing something family-oriented, I literally say, I'm like, you guys, I don't want this to be taboo. I don't want you to tiptoe around me. I want to go to the baby blessings and the baptisms, and I'll stand outside of the temples and I'll babysit the kids, because I can't go in the temple if you're not a member of the church. And so just things like that, I'm like, I still support you guys, and I think that they realize that. So in return, I feel like they've been really great to support me and my mental health. Oh, the next question was, did you ever tell your family when you decided to leave the church, or did you keep it private? No, I kept it private for a couple of years, actually. I think people, along with you guys, had your questions and your suspicions. I stopped wearing garments. Garments are like clothing that you start wearing after you've gone through an LDS temple. It's like the underwear that like is a white cap sleeve shirt, and then it goes like a little bit above your knee. And that's something that is hard to do privately if you want to wear a tank top or short shorts or whatever. Then people will start to question, like, oh, I wonder if she's not wearing a garment, and so I definitely got a lot of that. I definitely got a lot of that over the years, like, hey, like, you don't wear your garments because you wear a lot of tank tops. And that's been years of me doing this. So again, I just kept it private. Whenever somebody would ask me, like online about it, I would just search right on over and not address it. And again, I spoke about this in the last podcast, but I don't think that was me being fake or not authentic. Although sometimes I did feel that way, you guys. Like, there were so many times I would tell Drew, like, honey, I just have to freaking tell people. Like, I have to tell people because I share so much of my life, and this has been a huge part of my life the last couple years. And so sometimes I felt like I wasn't being authentic, but then I just had to remind myself that I'm still me. I'm still completely showing up the authentic part of me. But as for social media, you only know what, we choose to put out there if you do put yourself on social media. So anyways, that's that. Okay, next question. Do you still believe in God? Yes, I do. I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus. So the first article of faith in the Mormon Church is, I believe in God, His Son Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Ghost. And that's one thing that I have had to deconstruct a little bit. And I'll just be completely transparent. For me, the Holy Ghost is different than what the LDS Church teaches. Like, for me, the Holy Ghost is my intuition. It's a God-given right to me, that I always have my intuition. And it's like a mother's intuition, or you trust your gut, or you walk into a room and you have a weird feeling. Like, I believe that that's all within me. The LDS Church, I'm sure they, believe that too. Sure, high fives. But they also believe in the Holy Ghost, and the Holy Ghost is a gift that you're given when you're baptized. That you have like this companion with you all the time that protects you, basically. So my belief on that is a little different, but as for God and Jesus, yes. I absolutely think that I am Christian. I'm just not Mormon. Okay, next question. What if the church is true? I have totally thought this. Like, I've totally thought of this. And, again, in the last episode, I talked about, like, doing A, B, C, and D to get to the highest degree of heaven and to be with your family forever and that type of thing. If the degrees of heaven are true, if what Joseph Smith, if his, like, story of seeing the Godhead and him restoring the one true church on earth, if that's all true, then I think that I've resigned myself to not be in that. It's so terrible. But I really have, like, I've resigned myself to, like, not be in that top tier of heaven. Like I'm I would say I'm a really good person. And, but if I'm now technically an apostate because I was a member, I have heard the gospel and I have turned away from it. And since that is the case, technically I'm an apostate and I won't get that highest degree of heaven. And I think that I just am okay with that if the church is true. And I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I don't know. I'm not trying to, like, disrespect anybody. I really am just, dang, like, I kind of always say that I've always been a square, trying to, like, fit myself into a small circle hole. And I am so much of a square. I cannot change that I'm a square. And so, therefore, all the squares end up in this level of the kingdoms of heaven. And I can't change that, you know? So, I'm okay with that. And high fives to everybody who stayed in and stayed strong. My brain just cannot. It just cannot. So, yeah, great question. This person said, no question, just you're not alone. Thank you. This person said, no question, just a shit ton of love and support. I love you guys. Thank you. Do you miss anything about the church? Yeah, I do. Totally I do. It's the weird little things. So I miss, like, the Sunday ritual of, like, going to church. I know I can still go to a church, right? Like, that's fine. But I'll tell you, like, back when we were super active LDS members, we would, like, go to church in the morning for a couple hours, come home, eat, like, the greasiest snack we could make. Like, I'm talking, like, microwave cheese nachos or, like, a quesadilla dipped in, like, sour cream with a little salt on the sour cream. It's so good. I can do all those things, but just, like, the ritual of, like, coming home, taking your dress off, taking your heels off, getting in your PJs, getting in your comfies, making a disgustingly unhealthy snack, eating the snack, taking a Sunday nap. Oh my gosh, like, that's my heaven right there. Quite literally is a Sunday nap. And I used to literally talk about that on my social media, like, signing off from my Sunday nap because I love Sunday naps so much. So things like that, like, just that warm, cozy ritual of, like, a Sunday. Again, I can recreate that totally, but I did that every Sunday my entire life. Like, that was literally every Sunday for 30 years of my life. So that, another thing is, like, when I go into a store, I don't really dress shop anymore, which is weird for me because that was, like, a huge thing in my life, was like, oh, like, that's, like, modest enough I could wear to church. Like, but funky enough that it still shows my personality. So I miss like dress shopping. I rarely wear my dresses anymore. So that's weird, that's different, not having more. What else? As for like the service part of it, like I am in a neighborhood that's so freaking amazing, and half of us are active LDS and half of us aren't, and we still are all so close, and we have book clubs and we have group chats and we have play dates, and we're all just so respectful of each other's beliefs, which I know is actually kind of rare. That, like, I know that sometimes neighborhoods can be really cliquey, and if my neighborhood's cliquey, sure, if other people think that, that's fine, but like I just feel like I've finally found like my group of friends that, like, one of them is in the Relief Society, like presidency, you know, she's very, very active in church, but she loves me and respects me so much that she's the one that shows up and picks up my kids when I'm in a depression funk, you know, and she does that not because she's Mormon, she does that because she loves me and its community. So like the Mormon church is really good at like service and community, but I feel like I still have that. I feel like I still have that group chat that's like, hey, so-and-so just had a baby, let's do meal trains, I'll bring a meal on Saturday or whatever. I feel like I still have that. So, but I wanted to shout out the church, that the church is really good with stuff like that. Oh, this is such a great question. This person wrote, how did it feel to remove your record? And that's another thing is like, for a while, I kind of went back and forth. I was like, well, if I don't believe in the church anymore, then like they can have my records, like that's fine. That doesn't make any difference to me. It was actually like a general conference talk a couple years ago. I have no idea who it was. I just remember hearing this, where the prophet or one of the apostles was talking about the number of people in the church and how fast the church is growing. And I kind of like heard that and felt sick to my stomach because I was like, no way is that number real. And you can't have my name. Like I literally was just like, you cannot mark me down as being a member when I clearly am not. So because of that, I removed my record. And to answer your question about, just because I'm a dick, you know, like it's literally, it just is my personality. I'm just like, stick it to you. Like you can't say that I'm a member. Don't count me as a member. Like I don't like that. And other people are probably like, I don't care. I don't care if they count me as a number, that it affects my life zero. And I respect that too. 1000% respect that. So you do you, boo. I love, if they have your name and number and email and you have it all like blocked, or if you still get, you know, messages to your email about like church stuff going on in your area, I freaking love that for you. Like if that works for you, that's fine. For me, it's more just like a rebellious thing for me. I was just like, no. Okay, next question. Oh, I didn't even answer that question. So when I finally did remove my records, I got a letter. I probably have it. It's probably like right here in this junk over here. Oh, that's terrible to like, I don't mean that disrespectfully. But when I got the letter, can I tell you something? It was actually really weird. I thought that I would have like this crazy profound like feeling. I really didn't. I didn't feel anything. I don't think I felt anything. And I was just like, it's so interesting that something that's such a big deal to true believing members, removing your records is a huge deal. And I didn't feel like it was a huge deal at all. It was just a letter saying your records are no longer in our system. And I was just like, okay, high five, you know? It's weird. It was actually really weird. I should, you know, maybe sit on that for a minute. Has leaving affected your friendship? So I kind of talked about this already. No. Like, if you're in my circle of friends, like personal friends, like, you know all of this. I have talked to you about this. I have a friend who, she's a really close friend. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that she's one of my best friends because we do a lot of stuff together. And she texted me. What did she say? I'm going to pull it up. She texted me about the podcast yesterday, and she was so sweet. Okay, she said, "It's so crazy for me to listen to that podcast and have memories from every single phase. To remember almost all of the things from the comment on your Instagram, to you talking about being LDS on your Instagram, to telling me you were in the gray area, to leaving." And she really has. She's just been my constant this whole time. And I responded and said, "Right? You were there through it all, babe." And I said, "You never judged me once. I love you so much." And then I said, "Let me rephrase. You never judged me to my face." And so we were just laughing about that. And it's just crazy. Like, I literally did go through all the phases. I tried to hang on, y'all. I really, really did. I tried. But she's been with me the whole time. So friendships are great. My friends know who I am. My neighbors know who I am. Like, I'm not like a fake person. Like, this is what's going on in my life. On social media, I'm going to like talk about my daughter, and people are going to ask if I'm LDS, and I'm going to just like scoot on past that because I wasn't ready to talk about it. So anyways, did church history make you want to leave? So this is a very tender topic. I won't go into it because that's not what this is about. This is about me and my journey of leaving. But I will say that, so I was talking with my in-laws about this actually, and they said, well, maybe one day like you'll come back. Like, if your OCD is like under control, maybe one day you'll come back. And I kind of explained it like, I've been living in this beautiful mansion my whole life. It's huge. I have all the room in the world. Amazing food. I have vitamin D from whatever. I live in this mansion. I don't leave the mansion. Again, the mansion is stunning. The mansion is beautiful. The mansion is great for everyone involved. Everyone. But one day, I stepped outside and I was like, OMG, nature. Like, nature is beautiful. Mountains are beautiful. Trees, sunlight, rivers, like, beautiful. And so even though that mansion was so beautiful and great, most of it, I've now seen too much, essentially, to where I want more. And I need more than that mansion is willing to give me. And so that's another question is, would you ever go back, ever? Do I see myself ever going back? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Okay. Oh, did you remove your records? Yes. Did you hire a lawyer? So this is something that the church does with removing records. I think that it's gotten a lot better. I think it's gotten a lot easier to remove records, but they're notorious for making it pretty difficult to actually remove your name from their records. I found a loophole essentially where I sent an email to my bishop and stake president, just like the leaders of my local congregation, and it actually helped that the bishop in this neighborhood is like part of our friend group. But I basically copied and pasted this email that I got from a friend that is basically me like stating that I'm a lawyer myself. Like, not that I'm a lawyer, but like I'm taking ownership myself of this issue, essentially. And I sent that off, and that's literally all the church needed to remove my records. So I know for a lot of people the process is a lot harder. They'll try to they'll do like exit interviews, like they'll do meetings with stake presidencies and like stuff like that, and you'll need to bring your lawyer, that type of thing, which like isn't the easiest thing to do, and it costs a lot of money. So me just sending this email was actually very simple. Took a couple weeks, maybe, from start to finish. Let's see. Did you ever have a real testimony if you ended up leaving? This is like such a wonderful question, and I will address it. Okay, so I have amazing experiences when it comes to like my testimony of the LDS church. Amazing experiences where I literally am like in the woods during a girls' camp, church camp, and I feel the Spirit so strong, and we're all together, and we hug each other, and we love each other. I remember another feeling of us singing the song Army of Two Women. Do you guys know that medley? You know what I'm talking about? Beautiful song, okay? And something about the music and the harmony and all of us being together and having this one common goal, and that's to figure out if this shiz is real. I am such a firm believer that those spiritual experiences were real. I had God, touch my soul. I felt so much of God's love. I would never take those experiences away. Never. The difference in my thinking now, and again, this has taken me years and years, y'all, but I've had to go through those spiritual experiences and basically, not repurpose, but relearn what that meant. And when before it was Joseph Smith was a true prophet, Nelson is a true prophet today. He talks to God face to face. And you feel this feeling, and you're like, OMG, this is so real. I feel this feeling, and the music is so good, and this circle of girls are so good and so beautiful, and I love them like Christ loves them. And those feelings that I felt, I now purpose those to God and not to Joseph Smith was a true prophet. I don't think that those feelings weren't real. I believe that they were real. Just for me and my perspective then, I only had this snippet of perspective, and I thought, yes, this feeling is real. Yes, you're right, Marky, as a 15-year-old. That feeling is real. But you can't plug that feeling into the LDS church. Instead, I'm plugging that feeling into I am divine from God, and God loves me so much. So, dang, that was a good question. I don't regret any of those feelings. I don't subscribe to the LDS church anymore, but I'm grateful for those experiences and giving me the opportunity to feel those feelings. They're just aimed somewhere else now, if that makes sense. Is Urban getting baptized? So if Urban wants to get baptized, he totally can. Obviously, we don't go to church. Urban, we try to talk to him about it, but he's just so nonchalant. And I'm like, dude, do you want to sit down and have a conversation about why all your cousins and why all of your friends are getting baptized right now? Are you curious? Do you want to know about it? We're happy to teach you. He's not super interested in it. And then I know a lot of you will be like, yeah, but you're his parent. It's your job to, show him the truth. But if I don't subscribe to the LDS church being the truth, then, why would I put that pressure on my 8-year-old to
make such a big life decision, you know? Yeah, a lot of his friends are getting baptized. We go to them. We literally went to his cousin's baptism in St. George last week. And it was great. I mean, it was fine. And Urban watched the whole thing. And I try bringing it up, and I'll be like, dude, do you want to learn about what choice your cousin just made? Do you want to learn? And he's just like, I don't know, like I don't really want to go to church. I don't really, and so like again, it's like, and even Drew was asking me, he's like, what if Urban like wants to serve a mission one day? And you know what I said? I said, if Urban believes in something so much that he's willing to go out and spend his money and our money on preaching what he believes to be true because he believes it so much, I would be so proud of him. Do I believe the LDS church to be true? I've told you 1,000 times. No, I don't. But I would never stifle, my child to it either. I just want him to want to learn, and we're just doing our best to like have it be an open conversation, and that's kind of what we're doing. I hope Drew was okay with me addressing that. I'll have to clarify that with him. Okay, let's see. This one says, where is Drew with religion? Does he still consider himself LDS? And will you baptize your kids? So, kind of talked about all that already. Okay, so this person wrote, faith transitions are so hard. I don't know who I am without the church, and when I try to peel back the layer, it's like there's nothing left in me, and my entire identity is erased. Have you felt that way at all? If so, how do you deal with it? This is so hard. I think the difference between me and maybe a lot of people is I grew up absolutely hating myself because I was told that you have to do A, B, C, and D to be with God again and be with your family again. And I took that so literally, and still do take it so literally, that it literally made me lose my mind, and it made me mentally ill. I was always okay. I wasn't okay with sinning. I felt so shitty. But I knew that I wasn't going to go to the highest degree of heaven. And so I kind of had already resigned myself because God would see right through all of my lies, and I was such a liar. And so, I don't know, like that, I hope I'm making sense with that, but I feel like that's kind of the difference, is I was just, when you peeled back layers for me peeling back the layers was peeling back the lessons, and me being like, oh, I'm actually normal and not a liar. This is what it's like to not be LDS, and it feels so much better on my soul because I have no pressure on me, you know? So I'm really sorry, and that is just really hard, and I don't know if I have advice other than tap into your soul and just like try so hard to be true to yourself, and everything will be okay. And I know with every fiber of my being that God loves you so much, and I love you so much because I know He wrote this in, and I have so much respect for you. And to go through this journey or anything similar to a journey like this is actually really freaking hard, and I'm sorry you're going through it. And also, if you are around my age, which I know you are, guess what? We're still young. We're still learning. We're still figuring it out, and that's totally fun. Take it one day at a time, babe. Okay, I think that's all. This one says, if you could tell people unfiltered why you left, what would you say? I mean, I've kind of already said it, but yeah, I just can't. I stopped believing in the kingdoms of heaven. That was the start of it. Because again, I felt like Everly's, me being with my daughter again was being held over my head, and I didn't like that. So I dissected that. And then I dissected a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And that's where we're at. Okay, this person said, I'm having a hard time not wearing my garments when I'm around family. Advice? It's really hard. I kind of addressed this at the beginning of the episode. Garments are such a personal thing, and sometimes I want to just like shake people and tell them, like, if you live in freaking Pennsylvania or North or South Dakota or Florida, I don't know, or Germany, I don't care where you are. It is not normal to talk about people's underwear. It's just not. Like, here in Utah, especially, you cannot go through deconstructing religion and taking off your garments in private. You just can't. And I'm not going to bash the church, but it is so hard. It is so hard to do this in private because of your outward appearance. And that sucks. And I'm so sorry. And I don't know if a conversation is worth being had. I just started doing it. Like, it's summer, I'm freaking hot. I have zero control over a gross dude who can't control his thoughts, and he's thinking of me in his bedroom that night. Like, sorry to be vulgar and gross, but like, that, his brain has nothing to do with me. And if I'm wearing a tank top, I think he'll be fine. You know, that's none of my business. So, I'm just really sorry you're going through that, and my only advice is just do it, or have a conversation and just say, this is where I'm at, and I'm figuring it out, and I love you, and I know you love me, and maybe it's something that we can figure out together. And they might surprise you. You never know. I have been so surprised at the people who have come to me telling me, I've been there for a couple of years, this is where I'm at too, blah, 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 blah. And so, anyways, yeah, a lot, and I'm really sorry, and I wish I had better advice. So, this last question says, how do you know that leaving the church was the right thing to do? This question is actually really hard, and because my camera just died and I had to put in another battery, I was really like sitting on it and contemplating it, and I think that the only way I can really answer this is, how do you know that leaving the church was the right thing to do for me? Because that's the difference. I mean, you can do your research, you can assess what you've learned, you can feel the lessons that they give you, you can feel all the feelings, and it really is such a personal thing to go through. And so that question's really hard. How do you know if it was the right thing to do? For me, it was the right thing to do. For me, it was my only choice. I couldn't do it. Like, I could not do it anymore. My eyes had been opened. Frankly, I had just learned too much. And I'm in the business of like learning and growing. And like, I couldn't lie anymore. I couldn't like not be myself anymore. And so, I don't know. I wish I knew how to answer that better, but for me, leaving was the best thing to do. And since I've left, I feel so whole. I feel like my relationship with God is so much better. I don't have a middleman to God. Like, I just don't. It's just me and him, and that's fine. And I just feel like other people, like I said, if they like that organization and they like to go worship at 9 in the morning and they like the community and they believe what's being taught at the pulpit, then I'm not being condescending when I say that I really love that for them. It sounds so condescending. I'm sorry. I really don't mean it to be that way. If you're happy, I'm so happy. If you are happy, I am so happy for you. I was not happy. I was in constant turmoil. I was in constant, not even fear, just, I'm garbage. I'm just garbage, and I'm just kind of faking it for, like, I'm just going to put these questions aside. And I called myself an a la carte Mormon for years because I was like, nope, don't agree with that. Nope, don't agree with that. I literally called myself an a la carte Mormon for years. And then I learned that the a la carte made me not Mormon. It made me Christian. And so that's where we are. Good times. I think that's all. I think I'm going to end this one now. So technically this is Are You Still LDS Part 2. And then I'll have a Part 3 coming up. Probably with like submissions from you guys, because I know a lot of people have messaged me. And I just would love to like shed a light on like some of the messaging that you received. Literally, you guys, it's not just the LDS church, it's like a lot of different churches that the messaging is really hard for some of us in our brains. And so, anyway, that is what it is. But as always, thank you again for listening, for supporting. Please, I know I sound like so dumb, but please like and subscribe and download episodes. If you're subscribed to the podcast, then it should automatically download for you, and that's what helps the podcast grow, and that's what helps me get paid like 10 cents or something. I'm just being sarcastic, y'all know me, but it's really small. It's really not a lot of money. But I love you all so much, and thank you for listening, and remember to take care of your heart, and we love everyone.